Blessings, bright ones, and welcome to day 9 in the creative matrix, where all is uplifting and supportive. All leads us forward into greater self-acceptance, greater self-empowerment. It's because in the creative matrix, our awareness begins to open itself to greater potential and possibilities. We look for all the support that can be. We look for the solutions. We welcome in the healing. We remind ourselves that we're not alone upon our journey, that we are so infinitely loved, that it's effortless to welcome in all of this assistance and support from Universal Source. We begin to call to ourselves everything that lifts us higher, everything that allows us to feel safe and secure in this perfect now moment. This is so important to bring awareness to, because there are times, let's be honest, all of us, there are times when we are not feeling very inspired. There are times that we're identifying with the struggle and the lack. There are times that we forget who we are and what we are connected to. We're forgetting that in all moments, we have the ability to affect change in our personal lives. This is so important. Just breathe in, with Mother Nature here to support us. Breathe in this awareness that whatever appears to be overwhelming in our lives right now, we have the ability to affect change, growth, expansion, healing can begin to take place from this exact moment, right here, right now, when you allow it to flow through. So we're going to connect for a moment, just connect to any sense of vulnerability within. This vulnerability I'm asking you to connect to for a moment. I'm not asking you to get lost in it. I'm not asking you to wear it like a proud badge of honor. I'm asking you just to authentically know there's a part of you that doesn't always feel safe, secure, bright, and beautiful. There's a part of you. Now, envision that part of you being so innocent and feeling without hope, without understanding, without clarity. That part of you just longing to be accepted, just to be accepted. By understanding this part of you is real, and she or he authentically aligns with that sensitivity, we are going to call in divine light. We're going to call in the beautiful brilliance of God's divine light, of all infinite radiance that is and can be, and allow that part of us to remember that we are eternally loved, that we are so supported, we are so safe. We are blessed upon this journey, and we are each surrounded by those who wish to support us. It's important to remember this, because when we're feeling insecure, taking one single step can sometimes overwhelm us. It's important to remember that one step can lead us to that next level of support, that next level of inspiration. We have to begin somewhere. So we remind ourselves, number one, that this world can be incredibly safe. It can be very, very supportive. The next awareness that we have to connect to, okay, the next awareness to really remind this innocent part of ourselves that they can be in their personal power. We have to remind ourselves that we want to live passionately, that we want to be in love, that we want to be in joy. We have to remind ourselves to step into that confident state of being, where we have the right to want all of the prosperity and the abundance, all of the infinite love to be ours. We have the right to welcome this in. So here we are reminding that it's possible, this innocent part of ourselves, we're reminding them that it's possible for this world to support us. And then we're reminding ourselves that we want a different view, a different expansion of being in our life. We don't want to remain stuck here in this very secluded, vulnerable state of being. We want to step into the possibilities. We have to want it, right? We have to want it, because what's going to motivate us to leave that state of funk? We have to move forward. So here we are. It's possible for everything to be safe and supportive. We direct our energy into what we want. And then, with a fire that is in our heart, a fire, a pure space of knowing, not fear, not desperation, just knowing that it can all be ours. We call it to ourselves. I welcome in all that is supportive and uplifting. I welcome in clear sight. I welcome in love. I welcome in healing for every aspect of my soul. I allow myself to be accepted and loved as I am. I step into this place of self-acceptance so completely that I no longer hold myself back from receiving all of the love that can be. Now, this is the part of the journey that sometimes holds us back from really welcoming all of this abundance that we're speaking of. We might accept that it's possible. We might focus upon what we want. We might really call out and be very clear about our prayers. But we also have to begin accepting that we're worthy of it. We're worthy of it. And that it doesn't have to come from an outside source in order for us to find what it is we seek. When we know that we wish to welcome in peace and love, inspiration and joy, we begin to first and foremost focus upon our own resource of peace and love, inspiration and joy. Our own resource within our being in all moments is the ability to believe in ourselves, to love ourselves, to accept ourselves. Sometimes we put out this call to all universal source, and then we think that we have to. I'm not saying that it's not possible to just lay back and receive, but that we have to just lay back and receive. Perhaps your soul needs to go deeper within before you begin to welcome what comes from an external source. We all have different journeys, but if we don't have that core understanding of self-acceptance first, it's not going to be easy to welcome all that abundance from an outside source. No matter how much love comes flooding to us, we'll be resisting because we're still identifying with the part of us that felt vulnerable and stuck. When I'm bringing us through these stages of expansion, from being lost and alone to perceiving that it's possible, to knowing what it is that we want, focusing our attention forward, putting out a clear call to receive, and trusting that we're worthy of receiving. When we move through all of these stages, we begin to effortlessly shift the way we see this world. This part of us that felt lost and alone, they're not going to be able to stay in that vibration, in that frequency of limitation, because they're going to be attached to all the growth, all the focus on potential, all the self-love that you're stepping into. You're the one that will be cultivating this healing for yourself. And at first, it may be a bit of a challenge to stay focused upon the healing, stay focused upon the self-love, stay focused upon what you have the ability to affect change in. It may be a bit of a challenge because we've been fed and nurtured by everything that comes from these external sources. We feel supported when somebody tells us that we're special. We feel safe when some outer source provides what we align with as security and safety. Now we're stepping into this place where we have to be the wise one to this part of us that felt a bit lost and alone. We have to remind that part of us that today, in this exact moment, we have the right to be empowered. We have the right to be loved. We have the right to be nurtured. Not only do we have the right to accept all of these blessings in life, but we're also in awareness that we're the only one that can truly bring it to ourselves. Are you ready to step into that level of self-acceptance and love? In my own journey, as we come into this gateway of awakening, when we recognize, wow, I really am loved. I really am beautiful. When we're just stepping into this gateway, we still identify a lot with all of our own insecurities and all of our own self-judgments. And when I first started stepping into this, I could see that I was ready to be free. I could see that I was ready to focus on the positive. And all of the guilt and the shame from all of, and I mean my very innocent, choices in life, I held so much guilt and shame for not being perfect. How did I move forward? Except to retrain my thoughts, and to reprogram my thoughts to say, I am always, in every single moment that is, I am always the best that I could be. Always. I accept this now, in all moments. This is what's given me the strength to move forward. In all moments, I have always been the best that I can be. Always. If I was able to give more or be more or do more, it would have been natural for it to be so. If I was at a state of self-doubt and questioning, then I may have participated in some experiences that weren't of the highest level of truth and light and peace and divine frequency. It's possible. I was there. But that's not less perfect, beautiful, and purposeful on my journey than any other experience. I have to understand that's where my soul was at. That's all I knew. I didn't have the strength, the awareness. I didn't have the understanding that more was possible in those moments. We have to learn to love ourselves through everything, because this is what we're here for on this earth plane in this lifetime, at this stage of mass collective awakening. So many of us hold the memory of feeling less than perfect. We hold the memory of feeling self-conscious. And it's time for all of this to release itself. It has to, for us to begin welcoming in all the blessings and the healing that can be. I'm going to share a story that I share in my classes and teachings sometimes very early upon my journey of connecting to the divine. Buddha came to me at a time where I held no personal connection to Buddha. It wasn't in my faith, my awareness, and although I respected and had admiration for the concept, the idea of Buddha, there was no part of me that felt I was personally aligned or connected, that I had the right to really connect to that energy. And in this journey of awakening, Buddha came to me, and he stood before me, and I didn't see his being. I saw his eyes sinking deeply into my own, deeply, as if they were oceans, chasms of being. And his lips did not move, but he spoke to me. And he said to me, and this is at the very beginning of my journey where I did not have a very strong sense of self-confidence. He stood before me, gazed into my eyes, and said, "I am you, and you are me." And he wished for me to repeat the words to him. And there was no way that I was comfortable repeating these words to imply or assume that I was equal in any way to Buddha. So he came to me, what feels like almost daily, for a very long time, and it might have been almost a year. It was a very long time. And he would come to me, and I would honor him each and every time, and he would say the words, "I am you, and you are me." And he would wish for me to repeat them to him. And again, I was not comfortable until one day we were sitting on the beach, and here he was sitting directly in front of me, eyes gazing deeply, melting every bit of resistance within. And from within this beautiful, confident space of being, I repeated, and we said in unison, "I am you, and you are me." And in that moment of awareness, of truth, of acceptance, he expanded his being until he was as grand and great as the sky was all around me, which is easy to understand today with our view. So he expanded until Buddha's light was as grand as the world was, instantly. And I held a thought and said, "But wait, if I am you and you are," and he said, "Yes, yes, 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 yes." In order for you, all of us, but he was speaking to me at the time, in order for you to be the light in this world, in order for you to reach your own potential, in order for you to remember who you are, you must understand that you are the most magnificent, most remarkable, most extraordinary being that can be. You are the most powerful, the most beautiful. You are the most. And there is no soul any less perfect, pure, and pristine than you are. We have to, all of us, shed these perceptions that we are in lack and loss, that we must be bound to our own past. We have to accept that in this now moment, we are connected to infinite resource, to infinite abundance, to infinite possibility. And we have to recognize that it's our choice to welcome this into our life. It's our choice. It's our choice to stand in our power and focus on the positive potential. It's also our choice to remain insecure and separate and lost in any other state of being. It's our choice. We have the right to do that as long as we wish to. I wish wow, I didn't notice it. I wish that when I was truly lost in the depths of sorrow and emotion and vulnerability on this earth plane, I wish somebody just looked deep into my eyes and said, want more for yourself. It's all possible, but you have to choose it. And I'm laughing because I sense this beautiful brother with me now. I sense Buddha with me now. And he says, but I did. And yes, he did. And he worked hard to bring me out of my own insecurities. And he did so joyfully, because he knew I was ready for that. He has so much love for us. And it's not just Buddha that is supporting us. It's all the ascended masters. It's all the ancient ones and the sacred ones, to place names upon all the beings that support us now. All the realms of consciousness that support us now would be limiting. We cannot fathom the full magnitude of life, of truth, of source, of creation, of God, of being. We cannot fathom everything that we're a part of. We think we are this small speck lost in the midst of all creation. But we are the heart light of all creation. We are the jewel. We are the spirit of life itself. And every single time we draw ourselves out of our own limitations, out of our own insecurities, out of our own self-imposed challenges, we begin to illuminate the world. This world doesn't need to be fixed. I don't need to be fixed. You don't need to be fixed. We need to be loved. We need to be accepted. We need to be lifted into our own greater potential. And as a fact, for me to rise out of everything I've come through, I had to make sure I did not participate in the perception of lack and loss. I could not believe that that was my path. I had to push myself through each of those very authentic insecurities. I had to push myself through to align with the wise part of me that knows it's all possible. It's all here to support me when I'm ready for it. So I welcome in all of that universal support, all of the inspiration, all of the healing light that just flows to us without understanding what that means. We're asking for miracles. We're asking for blessings. We're asking for the remarkable and the extraordinary to touch our lives here and now. Let us be in open receptivity of all that flows abundantly. You are so loved upon your journey. You are so loved. There's light spinning, 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 as if I'm in the center of this vortex right now, and I'm about to be lifted, 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 lifted higher and higher and higher. This is happening for each of us when we just shift our awareness within in such a way that we say, I choose love. I choose love for myself and for all humanity. I take this brave step forward into greater understanding of what that means, knowing that I am ready to receive. May each of you walk forward in grace, with ease, honoring the beauty, the light that you are. You are so loved.